We got 3 whole new trailers at E3 this year for Kingdom Hearts 3, as well as the long-awaited release date. While the release date may leave some of the fans with a bad taste in their mouths, the trailer sure did make up for it in a big way, with some world reveals and some character reveals, and the best part about these trailers is that they are all in English. So we finally got to hear some of the voice acting of the game, and it sounds fantastic. Hello everyone, Kingdom Kid here with my Let's Talk About the 3 Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers that we got at E3 this year. I'm going to do this a little differently. Since we got 3 trailers, there is some stuff we have already seen in one trailer that is in another, so how I'm going to tackle this is by talking about the stuff we see from one world in each trailer. I will talk about how some of the scenes we see in the world and how the combat is while in this world. Once I'm done talking about the 2 new worlds, I will talk about some of the stuff from worlds we have already seen, then save the exciting stuff for last. If you have already seen these trailers, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, I have a link to all 3 of them in the description below. Now, without further ado, let us begin with the first trailer that was shown off at the Microsoft conference. We start off by seeing some new text on the screen, which is different than the one we have seen in past trailers. All of these new trailers start off with this passage: "The light is gathering together, hearts driven by one oath, one purpose." I have a feeling these words are a theme to this game, how all the Guardians of Light are gathering together to help drive away the darkness, and how they are driven by that purpose. Starting off with the first trailer we see, and it confirms that the world of Frozen is making its debut in Kingdom Hearts, and I have to say it looks pretty good. We start off with Sora vanquishing a Heartless and then commenting on the cold, and Goofy saying how he is used to the beach, and Sora says he's an islander, what can he say? And I just love this scene because Sora mentions his home world and how it is so much different than the one they are on. Sora then points out that even the lake is turned to ice. He watches in amazement before he notices Elsa running across the water as it turns to ice. I figure this is where Sora, Donald, and Goofy would start this world, was when Elsa was running away from home. We then jump to Anna, Kristoff, and Sven while Sora is commenting on how Olaf is a talking, breathing snowman. Anna asks if the trio is his friends, and Olaf says he doesn't know anyone blue, green, or extremely spiky. I love that description of the 3. There is just something off with this scene to me. The way the Frozen characters move just looks a little blocky to me and aren't moving as smooth as I feel like they should be. Jumping a bit forward in this trailer, we see Sora, Donald, and Goofy talking to Elsa. I'm going to guess that this happens close to the scene of when Sora saw Elsa running out of ice. A new kind of Heartless that's like a snow reindeer attacks the group, but thanks to Elsa and her magic ice, she's able to defeat it. Sora's impressed that she can control ice, and Elsa corrects him, saying that all she can do is hurt people and how she can't go back to her home because she doesn't want to hurt anyone anymore. We see a little more of this scene in another trailer where Elsa says that Arendelle is safer if she stays away. Sora's about to tell her otherwise, but an ice wall appears and separates the 2 of them, and we see Elsa running, pleading with Sora to stay away. Jumping ahead again, we see that Larxene is back, and she is interested to know what side Elsa is going to choose, light or darkness. I just love Sora's comeback of this, saying, well, good for you. Sora has just gotten so much more sassy in these games, and I love it. I also love the fact that Larxene is back. Even though Sora doesn't remember her, just like with Marluxia, he knows that she's part of her organization. Sora then goes on to say that he will not let Elsa fall into darkness. So it seems that Elsa is a key character that the organization is very interested in. Keeping with the scene with Larxene, even though it's done for the first trailer, she shows up in another trailer with Sora saying that she's following Elsa, and Larxene drops a bomb on how Elsa could be one of the 7 pure lights that they need, the new 7 hearts. So it seems that the old 7 princesses of hearts have been replaced. In an interview, Nomura said that Kairi is still one and that Elsa, Anna, and Rapunzel are all being targeted as possible new hearts. This is a big shocker, and it has me worried a little. I hope they explain in this game how there are new princesses of a heart, and I hope Jasmine is still one because I want to go back to Agrabah in Kingdom Hearts 3 so bad, you guys, but I'm getting a little off track here. Let's continue with the analysis. Let's move on to some of the combat that we see in the first trailer. We get a little look at the new Keyblade that we will get when we visit the world. It looks very similar to Diamond Dust in a way. We see Sora and Goofy using a tree to attack Marshmallow, that lovely snowman that Elsa made. In an interview, Nomura said that Elsa and Anna won't really be our party members. He said that Marshmallow would be helping us in battle. Unfortunately, right now it looks like he is fighting us and not so much helping us. We then see the command change for a new for the new Keyblade called Blizzard Blade, and Sora's arms and legs get covered in ice and he goes to town. We can see that Sora's clothes are a different color. They are now green. This could be some kind of speed form, similar to how when his clothes are yellow, he is in guard form, and when he is in red clothes, he is in power form, and blue, he is in second form. I love the style that this command does for Sora, and how he becomes a human drill to attack the enemies, and how he skates on the ice with ease. We then see the trio on Goofy's shield called Goofy Curling, as they are sliding down what could be a hill being attacked by Ice Dragon Heartless. I love how these guys look. They just look so cool looking, a pun somewhat intended. We get a small glimpse of what could be the inside of a cave before falling off the hill, but then we see them land back down on the shield and even doing a nice flip. We then move to a night time where Sora is going to summon a friend, and this friend makes such a fiery entrance. It's Simba, the first ever summon we had in Kingdom Hearts. He's back and his style is called King's Flare, and his two attacks are Fiery Roar and Fiery Leap. Simba jumps into the air and makes a giant fireball that looks to be somewhat similar to Mega Flare, as it explodes and makes the screen go white. We jump to the Monsters Inc. world as we see Sora, Donald, and Goofy using the Splash Run attraction ride. Time to go to the Toy Box world, and we see Sora use a new summon in Wreck-It Ralph, who was revealed during the event in late May. I'm really excited to see him in this game in some form. We move on to the Kingdom of Corona, and we see Donald for some reason shaking his moneymaker, like just look at it, it's so funny. But that's not all. We also see Rapunzel using her long hair to help Sora across a long gap. I'm sure she also does this for the rest of the group. Back to Monsters Inc. world, and Sora's sliding on the ground and shooting at a target. We see some combat in the world that we have seen in previous trailers, and then we see that the gummy ships are back and they're looking so good. It looks like it's going to be somewhat a mix between the gummy ship stages in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I say that because it looks similar to how Kingdom Hearts 2 stages look, but like the ones in Kingdom Hearts 1, there is some money on the stage that you can use to pick up. We don't see too much of these small scenes of the gummy ships. We don't even see a HUD of any kind. That could be because they haven't finished up with these stages yet. The environments of these stages look so good, and even the enemy ships look great too. And I'm honestly really excited to go to these stages. Finishing up some of the cutscenes that we see in the first trailer, we see Sora, Donald, and Goofy running into a crumbling building in Olympus, and they see Herc holding up a building to help save a family, and this just looks so good. We see a robot from the Toy Box world about to attack Ham before the trio blocks the fist, and Woody comes in to tuck and roll Ham out of harm's way. The party running in the Monsters Inc. world, seeing things on fire and watch a helicopter fly overhead, and then we pan down and see some unversed enemies. The odd thing about these past few scenes was that there was no sound effects for them, which seems a little strange, but maybe they just didn't have time to put them in there. We move to when Rapunzel gets her long hair in a braid and sees the mural of the royal family, and she looks at the baby, who, if you have seen the movie, know that is her. We jump to Twilight Town, and Sora saying that Roxas does exist and how his heart is within his heart. We see that he is talking to Ansem and Xemnas, and Ansem is saying that the other Twilight Town is just made of data. So it seems that Sora is going to use the data Twilight Town to somehow bring Roxas back. Since we are on the topic of Roxas, I might as well show the scenes from the other trailers as well, since we are mostly done with the Frozen reveal trailer saved for what happens at the end, but I'm saving that for later in this video. During the second trailer, there is a little more part of this scene. Sora says the same thing as he did in the first trailer, but this time Ansem says in that case by all means, and we hear Xemnas talk saying that nothing would please them more than the return of Roxas, of course. So it seems like the organization would be using Roxas as a 13th member if they needed to. We then jump into the mansion in Ansem the Wise's computer room, and we see Sora, and we get a nice look at Hayner and Pants as well as how the computer looks, and it just looks so good. We see Sora talking to what could be some kind of two-way walkie-talkie, asking about Roxas, and then we hear and see Ienzo in the computer room in Radiant Garden, and he says that in order for the data Twilight Town to have been completely realized, he would have to include Roxas's full data in the construction of the virtual Twilight Town. On one of the monitors, we see the words DTD, Door to Darkness, and we know how important that is. I mentioned how earlier when we saw Ienzo, he was in the computer room in Radiant Garden, and that has me happy because it confirms that Radiant Garden will be in Kingdom Hearts 3, whether it's playable or not is yet to be seen. I said this earlier that Sora seems to think that using the virtual Twilight Town could bring Roxas back on his as his own person, and the way Ienzo is talking seems that that could be the case. Sticking with this type of scene, we go to the last trailer that was shown, where we see the scene again, but a little different, where both Xemnas and Ansem say, "Now set your heart free," before summoning a portal to darkness to most likely leave Sora alone. We don't see them leave, but this could most likely be the case. Keeping up with things related to Roxas, according to an interview with Nomura, he did say that Roxas is one of the game's biggest secrets, so we will not know until we play this game what that role will be. We may not even see him in any trailers. That pretty much wraps up all the scenes from the first trailer, save for the one that I'm saving to the end of the video. So let's move on over to the second trailer that was shown at the Square Enix showcase. For the majority of this trailer, we see scenes that we see in the first trailer, but there are some new different ones in terms of gameplay and some scenes as well. Since there are fewer of them, let's talk about some of the gameplay that was added in this one. We see Sora summon a new attraction ride in the form of a carousel in the Olympus world. The reason we know that is because we see Hercules' HUD in the corner, and this is very quick, but we can also see the Ice Titan on the top right corner while the carousel animation starts. We then move to seeing a new Disney Pixar character in Remy from the movie Ratatouille, and he's helping Sora making some food in the kitchen, and the animation for this is very charming. Now, Remy's role in this game here is he's some kind of minigame in Twilight Town where you can find food ingredients and he can cook them, and if you cook them in the right way, the food could give you some kind of stat boost. On the flip side, if you mess up the cooking, the side effects won't be so good. Now we are done with all the gameplay parts, we move to some of the scenes we see. So sticking in Twilight Town, we see a nice render of Hayner, Pence, and Olette, who look really good, and they are being chased by a Devil's Wave before they pass Sora, Donald, and Goofy, and three of them get ready to confront the Heartless. We know this is most likely happening after the Olympus Coliseum world because Sora is in his new clothes, and we even see him spotting the new Keyblade that he gets in the Olympus Coliseum world. We see Mickey and Riku coming back into Yensid's room while Sora, Donald, and Goofy are there. This most likely takes place right after the three come back from the Olympus world, since we see Sora still in his Kingdom Hearts 2 clothes, and at the end of 0.2 we saw the three of them making their way over to the Olympus Coliseum world. And I think this also happens after Riku and Mickey are done with their mission in the Realm of Darkness, because the last time we saw these two, they were about to go to do that mission. Donald and Goofy are really happy to see Mickey, so happy that they knocked Sora down. The poor guy. The last thing we will talk about here is that we see Xigbar pointing to Sora and telling him that he shouldn't have to change and to accept the power that he was given and to find the hearts drawn into his. This is happening in the Olympus Coliseum world, as we will see in a later part of in the third trailer. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about that scene right now. In the third trailer, there's more of this scene where we see Xigbar telling Sora that at the end he will finally realize what Destiny has in store for him and that his reward might be right around the corner. He could still be trying to get Sora to become a darkness. They could have different plans for Sora. And I just love how cryptic this message is. Since we are still at Olympus, let's talk about a little scene we get in the third trailer where we see Hades at the gates of Mount Olympus yelling "Get them" at the three. And then we see three Titans. We see the Ice Titan again, as well as the Wind Titan and the Lava Titan. This has me so excited because it seems that we will be able to fight more Titans in this game. I just hope we will be able to because I want to fight these guys. Because I wanted to fight these guys for so long that I hope we get to fight them all. We know that we will get to fight the Ice Titan again because we saw it in part of the second trailer where we saw Sora bring out the Carousel Attraction Flow ride. We then see Herc jump down from Pegasus to lend a hand. That wraps up the first two trailers. Now let's talk about the last trailer that was shown at the Sony conference. We see Sora as the camera pans down and he's singing "A Pirate's Life for Me," and we see he is sporting some new pirate clothes, and he even has a golden tooth as well. It's hard to see, but it is there. Sora's happy because they get to be pirates again, and Goofy said he always did like to see this world, and Sora says he wishes they had a bigger ship. Now when I saw this trailer, I thought it was going to be Treasure Planet, but no, it is actually Pirates of the Caribbean again, as we see the Black Pearl sail down sand with Captain Jack Sparrow on top. We also get to see some old and new characters from this world as well. We see Elizabeth Swann, Will Turner, and Barbossa, but we also get to see Mr. Gibbs and Tia as well as some other pirates. Now the story for this world is going to be based on at World's End, since this is actually close to the opening of the movie. Nomura said that the events of Dead Man's Chest, the second Pirates movie, will be explained when you are in this world. There isn't that much in terms of scenes to this world like there was for the Frozen trailer, but the ones we do do see are pretty good. We see Sora, Donald, and Goofy with Jack and another returning member of the organization in Luxord who is back. Sora even asked if he's back, and he said how surprising it is, and it sure was surprising to see him back. Sora tells Jack to not give him the time of day, but Jack tells Sora to stand down, and that's the pirate's code to not strike at a pirate when the pirate is offering to negotiate. Luxord then tells them that he is looking for a box. Now it seems the organization is also looking for the black box that belongs to the Master of Masters. But in an interview, Nomura said that the box he is looking for is the same box that Jack is looking for. If you know the story of the movie at World's End, you know that Jack is looking for the dead man's chest that has Davy Jones' heart in it. So it seems a little odd that they would be looking for it as well, but they could have some similarities to each other, but they are actually different boxes. Now onto the combat we see in this world. There is some ship combat where we see Sora and Jack commanding the Black Pearl as they fire at other ships. We see on the HUD that we have an HP bar and a speed bar. On the command menu, we see that we can fire cannons, surge, water wall, and cancel. We then see at the top of the menu that there is a wind chaser as well as a tidal wave. I'm going to guess that these are most likely some environmental things that are not something that we can pick ourselves to use like other command styles in that similar fashion. In a different part, we see one of the commands change to raging cannons, and then we see an anchor shoot to another ship, and we see Sora flow onto the chain to go to the ship and then start fighting some Heartless with his new Keyblade. We see that he is already using the command style of the Keyblade called High Wind. We see some nice moves that Sora is using against the enemies, and then we see that he could change to the next style called Storm Flag. Down on the HUD, we see that of course Captain Jack is back in the party, and he will be fighting with us. We see Sora enter into the second command style called Storm Flag and goes to town. If you look down at the HUD, you can see that Sora's bandana changes color from red to blue, while the blue beam when he is in his normal form, while when he has the red one on, he is in the power form. We see Sora doing some fighting as well, and we see that the Power Wow Heartless is back. They look really nice. Sora then dives into the water and starts swimming in it, and it's just so nice, and he even uses the Keyblade as a way to swim faster. I just love how the HUD looks when they are not in combat, and just seeing the smiling faces of the heroes, and then how it changes when they are in combat. I just love that small detail so much. We then go to fight underwater as well against some kind of eel Heartless. It will be interesting to know if they are going to explain how Sora can breathe underwater for so long, because they didn't have any air gauge while he was down there. When Sora gets out of the water, we no longer see Donald or Goofy's HUD, and we can see a gauge on the top left that has the Black Pearl on it, so it seems that we have to be protecting the ship from taking damage. Sora then jumps high in the air and starts using his shot lock. We can see that he has the options for either Spiral Theory or Flow Chain. Sora then jumps on a Heartless, and it's commanding it while it's riding to a bigger boss Heartless. Just look at that health bar. It has 18 health bars, which makes me guess that this could be close to the end kind of world. The command menu changes while we are taking control of the Heartless to burst shot, torpedoes, air dodge, and get off. So of course we can do some fighting while we are controlling this Heartless. Sora then jumps on the big Heartless and spins on one of its many horns while the tail is about to shoot fire at him. While doing this, Sora can attack, bring up a barrier, which he does to protect himself from the fire, or use a somersault. The somersault is blacked out for now, meaning we can't use it. After a while, Sora falls off the Heartless and falls into a rainbow cloud that he uses to use flow motion on. This world is going to be big, as you can tell through this fight. Nomura even said that there will be land, sea, and air fights, and I can't wait to be able to explore all of this. That is all this trailer has to offer in terms of combat, so let's look at some of the other stuff this trailer has to offer. We see a little bit from the Toy Box world with the UFO taking the three green men and Woody, Buzz, and Sora trying to save them. We see Sora, Donald, and Goofy enter the city of the Rapunzel world, and we see Rapunzel dancing around and Flynn lean against the horse watching before we get a close-up of Rapunzel asking either Sora or Flynn to come dance. The reason why I say Sora is because there is a minigame involved where you get to dance with Rapunzel. I just want to point out all the people we get to see here, and it's just so amazing knowing that the worlds of Kingdom Hearts 3 are actually going to have people in them, like new NPCs and not ones that pertain to the story of the world. We jump to the Monsters Inc. world where Vanitas is spinning one of the containers, saying that the Unversed have collected enough screams and sadness from children, similar to how the monsters in this world used to collect energy. Mike gets mad at him because they were destroying the company while they were collecting it. That will bring the third trailer to an end, save for the ending. Now before I start talking about the endings, I want to point out a few things. There was some differences compared to the English versions of these trailers and the Japanese versions. In the Japanese trailer, all the scenes with the Rapunzel have voices in them, while the English ones do not. That could mean that they were not done with the voice recording for this world. They show a different part of some of the combat scenes in the third trailer for the Pirates world, and they even show Marluxia in the Japanese trailer talking, and we see that he has yellow eyes. The reason they probably didn't have this in the English trailer was because, like I said, they didn't finish recording the voice acting for the Rapunzel world, and we know that this is where we will meet Marluxia again. Now, the only things to talk about now are the endings of the trailers. I won't be talking about the endings of the second trailer because it shows up in the other two trailers. Let's start with the end of the first trailer. We are in the Realm of Darkness, and we see that Riku has been injured, possibly from the black shadow we see walking to the right of the screen. The shadow approaches a Keyblade on the ground, and this Keyblade is different from any Keyblades we have seen before. It looks like the Kingdom Key design, but it has the color scheme similar to that of the Star Seeker. How this Keyblade came to be and what the name and its purpose is, we can only guess until it is fully revealed. The shadow picks up the Keyblade and says in a similar voice, "This Keyblade." We then see Mickey, who is trapped, asking, "Is that?" Then we move back to the shadow as the darkness around it disappears, and we see Aqua again, and she says, "Mickey, you're too late," turning to the camera, and we see that she has yellow eyes. That's right, Aqua has turned and is now one of the 13 darknesses of Xehanort. This had everyone screaming with shock. Mickey and Riku went to the Realm of Darkness to save Aqua, but instead, they were too late. I feel like she will be the reason why Riku's way to Dawn Keyblade breaks, and that we have breaks that we have seen in previous trailers, since it is the reason Riku looks like he's hurt, and why Mickey is trapped as well. This is so crazy that there could be a possibility that we get to fight Aqua in this game in order to save her. I just want to point out that how this trailer was put together, that the scene before we see is when Sora is saying that he won't let her fall into darkness. We know he was talking about Elsa, but then we see Aqua, who fell into darkness. It's just so crazy. Now to the ending of the third trailer, we see Lee, who looks so amazing. I can't get over how good this whole game looks and how everyone looks. Speaking of how people look, we see the lovely Kairi sporting her new clothes, and she even got a haircut, as Lee said. She flashes that amazing smile before sitting on the rock next to Lee, as they stare at the sun rising. I just want to say I love the way that Kairi looks in this. I love her new clothes and her hair. It's just so adorable. I need to see her and Sora together in this game big time. Going to how this trailer was put together, before we see this scene, it's the scene where Xigbar is saying that Sora will see what Destiny has in store for him, and that his reward could be right around the corner, and we see Kairi. And it's just so beautiful, and this has to mean something that they put it together like this, right? Or is that just me? Anyway, back to the area where Lee and Kairi are at. Nomura says that they will see scenes where there will be worlds that we get to play at and worlds that where we will not get to play at, and the place where these two are is one that will not be playable. It's a little sad, but I can understand why it's like that. And the last scene we see is Riku at Destiny Islands, and I just love how he looks and how this world looks. I really hope we get to play here. He then looks over and smiles, and we see that he is sitting right next to the Riku replica, and that had everyone going crazy as well. Riku's replica is back. How and why and what could he be doing? So many questions to be asked about this. It now makes sense as to why Riku left the Way to Dawn Keyblade in the Realm of Darkness, saying it was for the other me when he was talking about him. But what is the Riku replica going to do with a broken Keyblade? And that is the end of all the trailers, and they all end with the release date of January 29th, 2019. Yes, we finally got a release date for this game, and even though it is not in the year of 2018 like they were hoping for, the reason why they pushed it back to this date was so that they could get it to as close as a worldwide release date as possible. So it seemed that Japan would have gotten this game months before anyone else could. They are also getting a little earlier too. Japan is going to get Kingdom Hearts 3 January 25th, 2019. I'm okay with that being the reason for the delay. Plus, it also gives them time to polish up this game somewhat and make more improvements, which will make this game much better in the long run. And with that brings my analysis of the 3 trailers to a close. I know this was a long one, but since I thought it would be better if I just talked about all 3 of the trailers in one video rather than make a separate one video for all 3 of them, it made more sense to me. But let me know how you guys think of how I did with this video. I should also mention this right now, that this will be my last Kingdom Hearts 3 analysis video, as well as there will be no more reaction to trailers, since I still want to have some surprises in this game when it comes out in January. I feel like if I see any more, it's going to be spoilers for me, so please, out of the respect for me wanting to do this, please don't tell me what is shown in new trailers, because we still have a lot of big conventions this year that Kingdom Hearts 3 is most likely going to have a presence at. We already know that it will be at the Tokyo Game Show conference in September, and it will most likely be at the Jump Festa conference in December, as well as other conventions as well. Well, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you do, please give that like button a click and let me know what you all feel about each of these trailers, with the reveal of Frozen and the returns of the Pirates World, and seeing Destiny Islands and Radiant Gardens again. Do you think we'll be able to play in this world? I sure hope so. I love those worlds so much, and I can't wait to be able to play this game in January. So thank you all so much for watching this video once again. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. I will be doing a Let's Play of this for sure. It'll be on my other channel, RPG Kingdom Kid, which a link for that is in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching this video once again, and I'll see you all next time.